All right, folks, welcome back to another edition of Forex Tech Magazine. It's your host, Lewis, and today is February 13th, 2019. You got one more day before Valentine's Day. If you haven't got it in, fellas, you better get it done. If you haven't made any money yet to make that purchase, well, hopefully stay tuned and we'll see what we can get for you here, if it's possible. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and get into this. Let's do a disclaimer. It's going to go a little something like this. Any and all information is given to you by Forex Tech Magazine should be considered to be for educational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing that is shared with you by Forex Tech Magazine should be considered to be investment advice. If you are in need of investment advice, then our suggestion to you, excuse me, would be to seek out the assistance of a licensed, competent advisor. So, glad we got that out of the way. Let's go ahead and get on into this. Let's look at what our trades are for today. First thing we're going to look at is this here. What happened here? All right, Great Britain pound, New Zealand dollar. Well, I'll tell you what happened here. All right, the Kiwi was supposed to be dovish, but it looks like they got very hawkish here for a moment. And you can look over here in the comments. All right, Reserve Bank of New Zealand monetary fund policy statement and governors comments lifted the New Zealand U.S. dollar pair more than 120 pips. It's crazy. Look at this. You know, the craziest thing is it happened right around the area of resistance. So once again, shouldn't have been in this trade anyway. If you were in this trade on a long position, and the reason being, price has not crossed over the downward trend line yet. Right? If you happen to have gotten into it early, because this downward trend line here, you crossed over, you got into it, or here you crossed over and got into it, or here crossed over and got into it, that's fine. Because you should have been trading with a stop loss, right? And if you're trading with a stop loss in place, then even though this thing went all the way through the A, all right, you would have got out somewhere either between here and your entry, right? So hopefully you minimize that loss, and better yet, hopefully you're trading the risk-free trading strategy, which essentially is once you went over to the profit zone, you move your stop loss up to that profit area to lock in your profits. That's one of the biggest factors that I look at and that I keep talking about when you're trading is to try to trade most effectively as possible. Sometimes it's going to mean that you're only going to make a couple of pips per trade. Sometimes it's going to mean that you're going to get that full, that home run, that big trade where you make a 200 or 300 pips. But the ideal is to not lose on these trades, or at least to minimize the losses. So if you only make a couple of pips per trade, that's okay, as long as you're making some. And when we look at this particular trade here, let's branch it out a little bit and go back on a long-term view. And even on a long-term view, still got upward momentum. Had upward momentum. Price crashed through there. So ideally, what we do now at the moment like this right here, sit back and wait. Sit back and wait is the best thing you can do. All right? Because if you get in right now and you say, hey, well, we want to sell it, which you could. say you want to sell it, but you could. You may run into some problems with that because even though the price was moving, trending down here, looks like it had a pullback here. It's still, if you look at it, low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? Oops. This is a lower high, right? But this right here so far is a higher low. So that means that the next high could be above this one here. So I'd be very cautious about trading this right here, even though we had this big pullback. Sometimes, investors get excited about something, but it's only excitement, it's only temporarily. And what you don't want to do is get caught up in something that's a temporary euphoric feeling by investors, and then see price only turn back the opposite direction and then push you out of a trade. So even though that was good for the night, for somebody who's lucky enough to short it, not something that I would necessarily get on the boat about. I would wait and see how price plays out over the next couple of days, next couple of hours or so. 24 to 48, maybe even 72 hours before you look to get in. Okay. Let's look at the Great Pound Canadian dollar. As you can see here, looks like price has crossed over into the buy zone. This is one of the ones that we talked about, I think, the other day. We were waiting for price to cross over. It crossed over, but it was a weak crossover. And we said we felt more comfortable if price got down here to this area of support and then crossed over. Well, it did. It pushed back up and it bounced off, and now it's went through this area of support, pushed back through the area of support, and now we're going to look and see what it's going to do next. Will it has it truly found area of support and bounce back up, or will it continue to break low? So this right here, still not strong enough to convince me to want to get in just yet, because as you can see, even though this right here was a green candlestick, right, bullish candlestick supposedly, it's not anything that is significant. It looks like it's topping out actually, and as you can see with this third or fourth candlestick here, looks like price is moving back down again. So definitely don't want to be buying in this particular market here at the moment. So that right there is a hold and wait. This right here is the Great Britain Pound Japanese Yen. This is another one of those hold and wait and see type pairs. Yep. Still under the trend line. And I know, folks, it's not very exciting when we look at these pairs and you say, wow, why is nothing moving here? There's no excitement. There's no opportunity to buy. Absolutely, there's not. And that's a big part of it, man. You could actually get in and try to chase this thing down. And that's what a lot of people are doing. One day they're moving up, one day they're chasing down, and then the next day they're out, And that's the reason why. It's because they're chasing. And what we don't want to do is we don't want to chase. We want to wait for the market to come to us and give us the setups, ideal setups. And then once we get our ideal setups, that's when we get in. Hey, Dr. P, what's going on, my friend? Hope all is well with you. So, yes. What I was saying, yeah. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to chase, right? What you want to do is you want to look at the market, wait for the setups, and then take action once the setup is in place, right? A lot of people chase, and when they chase, that's what, they get messed up, right? I also think the other thing to note is that we're only looking at Great Britain Pound pairs. You got all these different pairs that you could be looking at trading. So you don't have to just get stuck on these pairs. If you're seeing that if there's nothing to trade in here, you can always jump over to another pair. I mean, you can go over to the Euro US dollar, right? Check that one out and see if there's anything in here to trade, right? Let's look at this. All right, so this pair right here is going down. Clear screen. There we go. Let's see. Sorry about that. So what I'm doing is just putting on some fibs, just looking at something real quick. So if we look at this particular one right here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Presently in the 6th fib right here of opportunities to trade this particular what's this Euro US dollar pair, right? So when you look at something like this right here, it automatically just kind of comes to mind that, hey, you know what? There are opportunities out there in other currency pairs other than just the Great Britain pound US dollars or Great Britain pounds pair. So if you get a little bored because you're waiting for the particular setup to take place, always keep in mind that there's other currency pairs out there that you could be looking at trading to as well. And if you're not seeing the trade that you want to see in one particular pair, don't worry about it. Go find another pair to trade. Right? There's probably going to be a setup in some other pair out there. You just got to be diligent enough to get out there and look for it. Right? And just remember the ABCD pattern. Right? It's always out there, always repeating itself in some place. You just got to be able to find it. Okay. But yeah, this right here is one where it potentially could be. Right? So look at it, boom, boom, boom. And we say, what happens? Well, price is closed above the counter trend line. The counter trend line here is that price is moving up, so this is obviously a retracement. It retraced all the way back up to my, what's that, purple, lavender, bluish color here. So that means this right is going to be my take profit. If we look at our take profit, let's see. Boom, 72 pips. 45 pips risk, 75 pips potential. Why not, right? Matter of fact, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Sell. Boom. Do 3 lots. Set for stop loss. So far, take profit. Place order. Do you really want to? Yeah. Boom. So what we do here is, oops, what we're gonna do, boom, there's that take profit. That's great. And then what we do is we put in our stop loss here. Boom, that's great. All right, and we'll see how it happens, see how it plays out. So let's look at this right. So I'm risking 45 pips to get 75 pips. Right, and I did 3 standard lots, so that means it's $30 per pip. Right, and we'll see how this plays out over the next 24. If, let's see here, I am correct in my assumption here, so 5 times 30, oops. That's 2,250 pips, so we'll see. I mean, $2,250. If we're right, I don't know. We'll see. And if we're wrong, then yeah, it's gonna be a little less than that, right? The other thing that we could do is we could look at bringing our stop loss right here, right? And that'll save us how many pips? Okay, so now it's just be like 19 pips. Oops, no, so no, it won't be. It'll be a little less than that. Hold on 1 second. Let's see here. Oopsies. That'll be 26 pips. So anyway, we're not really worried about that just yet. So what we're gonna do, we're waiting for us to become profitable. Once we become profitable, we'll wait for the then get in and move our stop losses accordingly. Make sure we put on a risk-free trade. Hopefully, we better do that before this broadcast ends, which we're probably gonna end here shortly. Just to kind of give you a little bit more of an example of what I'm talking about. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll talk about this more. But what the main thing I'm trying to communicate to you here is that you don't have to be stuck in one trade, right? Or with one currency pair. I just do the I just focus in on the Great Britain pound pairs because it's the London Open. So I like trading those pairs because that's when a lot of money's coming into the market for those pairs. But at the moment, right now, on the large time frames, it is bullish. But right now, what we're doing is experiencing a bit of a pullback, so it is considered to be bearish. And what we're doing is waiting for it to change before we get back into the market. So, if that makes sense. No. This is a hard low. Here's the other thing too. I probably should have checked this before I got in there. Is that if you look at this, this would appear to be bouncing off of some type of a low. It hasn't visited these lows since November of last year. These levels. So the market could very well be U-turning from where it's at right now. But we'll see. We'll keep that in mind. We'll see. we're not gonna worry about it. Put what I did right here. See this big swing? All right, I just put in a level here to kind of let us know this is what market has made a huge U-turn before in the past. And as you can see, market has pretty much supported that U-turn. All right, it's been a very good level of support. It breaks through it for a little bit, but it pushes back up. It only really broke through it significantly one time. They hit that level where we're actually trying to reach now. But we're not worried about that. What we're worried about is, can market push through to get us in profitability, right? Because if it can, then what we're going to do, we're going to lock in that profit, right? However small, however significant it is or insignificant it is, and then let the market push us back through. So we'll see. I think we'll at least touch it. We'll see. I mean, we have touched it right here, so I don't know. Let's see. We'll see. We're gonna let it play out. Not worried about it. Not worried about it at all. All right. So the next one was the Great Britain Pound U.S. Dollar, which once again, this particular pair here is a no-go. And interesting enough is how close this thing plays to the A. I mean, the thing gets right there on the A, right? Then it bounces back up again. I can't really, I mean, I don't know. I don't really see it pushing up out of this here. I think it's pretty much dead in water. But it may. And, overall, when we look at this currency pair, we look at something that was in the buy zone, dropped off, started selling, and the question is, well, is it coming back, right? Will it be coming back? And if you look here on the daily chart, what happens, it crossed over into the buy zone, right? Now it's doing a bit of a pullback. But it still shows us that price went from being something of a sell to being something of potential buying. Right, it's pulling back right now. Hasn't broken below that A, and until it breaks below that A, still look at this as potentially something that we could buy for now. But once again, that could change. Let's drop down real quick. Let's look at the U.S. Canadian dollar. This right here is in the buy zone as well. Overall, daily. All right, let's look at the daily chart. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the seventh fib, pushing the price up. All right, you see it. Low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high, right? So price is making its way up. On the daily, on the hourly. One, two, three, four. Since 4 fib on the hourly. It has struggled here mightily after making some good gains. Price has pulled back significantly. It is not in the buy zone as of yet. Still looks to be in sell territory. It is trying to make its way through. I think we spoke about this yesterday a little bit. Yeah. Another thing to watch out for is you got your long-term trend lines, and then you got your short-term trend lines. So even if it breaks this long-term trend line here, still got to be worried that once it gets to this point that it may push back. So If it does break over the short-term trend line and starts to push up, you feel like, hey, I want to go ahead and buy. That's fine. Just be aware though that it really has to push up over this long term before it gets to the effective buy. The good thing is, if you notice, it pushed back to this lavender purplish color here, right? So that means that the target should be right about here, right? And that target is pretty much under or close to uh, this trend line. So if anything, if it gets close to this trend line, you probably hit that target and be out anyway. So just something, just some food for thought, something to be mindful of while you're trading. Okay. Let's look at Aussie US dollar. And this is the other one here. Not really much going on in this particular pair other than it just seems to be moving sideways at the moment. Wouldn't be looking to short, wouldn't be looking to buy, just be looking to sit on this particular pair here right now. I think overall with this particular pair, we talked about this the other day, it is a downward moving target. Uh, and I would treat it as such. And I went in and I made a mistake. My mistake was that I purchased on some, oops, I had purchased off of a short-term or intermediate pullback, but looking at the overall long term, it was definitely sorry, lost the person in the background, lost my train of thought. Looking at the long term, it was definitely a downward trending market. I can't get this thing to go back. Let's see. Here we go. Oops, that's not it. All right, so yeah, so here goes my mistake with the pair. So if you see right here, overall, it was downward trend, right? Price broke above the trend line here, peaked out right about here, and began to pull back, right? So we say, okay, yeah, we were in the buying zone, definitely, right? What happened then, right? Price began to move down. We had this huge spike that moved down, right? And then price began to move back up, and where I got in at was right over in here, right? And price crossed over into the buy zone here. On the short term, if you look at the longer term trend line, right, it was still down. And so ideally, the smart thing would have been done if you're going to be buying, should wait the price cross over this trend line with the upward trajectory, meaning higher high, higher lows, instead of lower lows, lower highs, even though it's on this side, because that means that the price was still in selling mode, right? It's a mistake that can be made, and it was a mistake that I did make, and wind up losing some income for it. But hey, that's the whole purpose of trading and looking at channels like this right here. So that way you can see mistakes other folks made and make sure that you don't make those same mistakes yourself. Saving yourself some money, by learning from other people's mistakes, right? At any rate, if you look at it right now, prices tends to looks like moving sideways and down. No real entry into this one, so I wouldn't get into it at the moment, and just kind of leave it as it is, which is a hold at the moment. We could potentially get back in and sell at some point in time, but I don't think right now is that point in time to do so. Okay. Anyway, guys, that's it for me for tonight. If you guys got any questions or anything like that, feel free to hit us up. You can do it at Forex Tech Magazine at gmail.com. Love to hear from you. Hit us up in the chat box when we're live. And if you have any opportunities that you want us to look at to analyze for you, let us know and we'll be glad to do so. Until the next time, I see you. Stay safe. God bless. And I will see you soon.